Ms. Taylor, it is an
Hi.
honor and a pleasure to be speaking with you. And I say that because I really like your show. Um,
Do you love it?
well, I said really like, but we can transition that to love.
You love it? Okay, great.
I'm not usually a reality show person, and within 5 minutes of watching you, I just wondered, there's so much natural charisma, and it doesn't seem like you're amping up for the cameras. I'm curious who it is that first said you would be perfect for TV.
Me.
Really?
It was my idea. I think I just was born to do this and I knew
Yeah.
it. And when my son was first diagnosed with autism, I thought everything I saw in the media back then seemed so kind of heavy and negative, and I just wanted to do something different, and I just felt like I was the person to tell that story. So I don't know. I just always thought that was, when I was from the time I was little, I thought I wanted to like make commercials and stuff.
Well, that's a really
It's
good
not been
point.
the journey about this show is not really about me being on TV as much as the message and, for autism celebration and having this amazing cast of characters that I knew was just going to be a great show anyway.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it was my idea and I was grinding on this idea for 10 years until we finally got it to where it is.
10 years.
10 years. It's been a
So,
journey, honey.
well, and of course, it is on the forefront of being a more digitally presented show as opposed to terrestrial television. But 10 years ago, what exactly was that landscape like for autism awareness? Because, yeah, you would have a character every now and then
Yeah.
in a movie or TV show who had autism, but everything was just like Rain Man, right?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that was about it. That's what I thought when my son was diagnosed with autism. I just thought Rain Man. That's all I knew. So there was hardly anything, in the media. And I felt so alone. And anything I did see seemed kind of more like a documentary. Like I said, like very heavy, medical, dense, depressing, gloom and
Mhm.
doom. So I wanted to see something that depicted the life that we were living, which was just kind of out of the box, off the chain, having a good time. My son's autism didn't keep us from living our best lives. And we're happier now with autism than I ever was before, which is a crazy thing. I don't think I would have thought that at the beginning. And absolutely, it's the truth. So, yeah, I think back then when we made a pilot like 7 years ago, and I think it just was the timing was off, because there wasn't really a lot being said about it. And now I feel like there's a little bit more, still not enough, little bit more with shows like Love on the Spectrum, The Good Doctor, I think it's now, a good time for it. And the kids, I took the idea, I was like, okay, well, we didn't sell the show the first time. And I was like, whatever's going to be is going to be. So then I started making my own little show on YouTube. And I was like, this is still funny as shit. This was like years later. And so I sent it back to the producers at World of Wonder, never thinking they're going to look at it, because I was like old news. And they're like, we still love this. And we like it more because your kids are older. It's kind of a little bit more, they've got more shit to their game. So I was like, great.
Well, before I ask you more about your show, I'm curious, you mentioned some other programs. Have you seen the Amazon show called As We See It?
I've not seen that. And I know I should have seen that by now. And I've not seen that. I know a girl who's in it, but have you seen it?
Oh, yeah, I did the junket for it. So when you do
Oh,
your
did you?
junkets, you do all the research. And I interviewed, do you know Sue Ann Pien, the actress in it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, the interesting thing about that is that three
I
of the
know who
lead,
Tal Anderson is, who I think is Tal on it too.
yeah,
Yeah, I know
yes.
Tal, but yeah,
Well, three of the lead actors on the show are people on the spectrum. So
I
I
love
think
that.
that also helps to break preconceived notions. And Pootie's not the only person on the spectrum on your show. It's a real interesting blended family approach. When you conceptualized the show 10 years ago, was it all the same people were in the show?
Well, a lot, honestly, because one of Pootie's very best friends, Nikki, who you've seen on the show, he's amazing. He's hilarious. He was on the show back then, but the main difference is the caregiver that I had before. He's out in LA. Now he moved on, and now we have Tyler. And then
Mhm.
Tyler's brother has autism. So there are some new characters. But yeah, so we have three young adults with autism on the show. And then the fourth it's my caregiver, Tyler, who is trying to get a diagnosis throughout the season. So it's yet to be determined whether he was received one or not, but you'll get to see his journey, seeing if he can get a diagnosis as an adult, which is a whole different really ball of wax. So yeah, so we have, like the show you're talking about, we have 3 adults, and it's real and it's raw and it's just their everyday lives, and it's a great thing to see because they're all over, these guys are all in different places in their lives. My
Mhm.
son is non-speaking, and Tyler's brother won't shut up. He'll talk you to forever. So you have lots of different storylines. But one thing I thought was, when I made this idea, I was like, this is what's going to sell it, is we're having so much fun with this. And if we've done our jobs right, you're not going to think you're watching a show about autism. Because
Right.
it's so fucking funny just on its own that,
It is.
you're going to forget that. It's just going to be, these kids are going to be just seen as part of our gang, and you won't see a difference. By the time you've watched it, you'll be like, oh, I kind of forgot that was sort of the point of it all. So, yes, but I do need to watch that other show. I usually go to bed about 8 o'clock at night and I don't get to keep up with anything. So,
Well, that show, the last thing I'll say about it is it's
yeah.
one of those shows where it's about 60% sad, you're going to cry, and 40% hilarious. It's that you laugh and cry in every episode. But back to your show.
Okay, great. Yeah. And I do think you'll see some of that. And so far, I don't think there's
Yeah.
been many crying moments, but you'll get there. You'll laugh and cry and everything in between.
Well, with a 10-year development process, when I think back to about 10 years ago,
Yeah.
LA and New York were still the hubs for entertainment.
Mhm.
And about 7 years ago, maybe, when they put in all the studios in the Atlanta area, Georgia, you start to find more TV is made in Georgia than LA or New York these days.
Crazy. Isn't
There's
that
the
crazy?
Tyler Perry studio, the Oprah
Yeah.
studio. You find at Cobra Kai, they're claiming they're in Southern California, but they're in Georgia.
I know. Isn't it funny? It's crazy. There's so much of that. I've got an aunt who's an extra in all those movies. She drives over to Atlanta and she just loves doing it. She's a senior, so it's kind of fun for her. But
So
yeah, it's booming.
was that possibly the turning point about why you were able to sell the show now versus then?
I honestly really don't think, I never really heard that. I know that, they love that because I feel like, now I may be misspeaking, that there's all different kinds of maybe tax credits and things that Georgia has
Yeah.
that makes it more desirable. So I'm sure that was like a cherry on top. But honestly, when we did all the pitch meetings, nobody discussed that. So I'm sure that, it's a good little fringe benefit. But yeah, I think this show is a novel idea, and I think that we are on the right side of history doing this. I think we're demystifying autism, and I
Mhm.
think this is the most marginalized of marginalized communities, and I think that these people need a voice. But like I said, it's so much more than that. So I kind of almost hate to put it in that autism box. Did you feel like that when you were watching it?
Originally, I was watching because they said, "Hey, would you like to speak with this person? She's really charismatic." And I went,
Hey,
"Fine." And then I watched it, and within 5 minutes, went, "Yes, I would like to speak with this person.
I love you.
She's entertaining, and at the same time, it's educational." I think they call that edutainment. I hate that term, but
Awful. Yeah, I don't like it either. But yeah, I get what you're saying. And I've always said that about the show. I've always said it's kind of softly educating you. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You're getting an education in a way that maybe you don't know because you're being so entertained. So that's what I think, that's my favorite part of it.
So it's a unique rollout. It's not just, "Hey, we're on TV and then we'll go VOD." It's more of it's on the Lifetime app. You can get it through the mylifetime.com website,
Yeah.
VOD. Was
Yeah.
that something that you wanted, an untraditional kind of rollout?
I feel like we were getting so much attention on the digital and the streaming that's what they wanted to go with. They felt like we'd find our audience there. And I mean, I hate to say it, but I kind of think that is how everybody watches TV now.
Yeah.
People tell me about a TV show and I'm not sitting by the TV at 10 o'clock on Wednesday night waiting to watch it. I'm just like, okay, let me let me get my shit together. Let me get all my stuff. Let me kind of, you know what I mean? Let me watch it on Tuesday, not Wednesday. I'm gonna watch it at, this time. So I kind of just think that's the wave of the future, right? Like I think that's how TV shows are going now. So yeah, I'm happy to be where we are. I'd love to do another season. I'd love to get a good audience who loves it. And yeah, that's where we are.
Is there anything that anyone makes appointment-based viewing besides sports? Sports you have to watch live because you don't want the spoilers, aka who won, what the big plays are. I don't
Yeah.
think that there's anything else that people specifically go 2 p.m. Sunday. This is what I'm doing.
No, I don't do that. And I do have cable and I have it because I'm so old. I don't know what to do without it. Do you know what I mean?
Vintage. You're
I want
vintage.
to, I want to turn the TV on and just know something's on there without trying to like think and let me find something. So the only thing I watch on it though is the news. I just watch 7A, 7P, see what's happening. It's usually very depressing, but that's the only thing I watch real time, Actually, I'm lying. I actually tape that too, so I go back to that on my DVR and tape it. But yeah, so I do think that's just kind of the way things are now. And so many, when we had a 10 o'clock time slot, I was falling asleep and I'm on it. And I was like, I remember watching it with my friend Cree and she's in it too. And I was like, goddamn, I don't think I can make it for this. I got to make a cup of coffee. So yeah,
Wow.
I think that's it. Yeah, that's how people watch TV now.
I mean, you have a lot going on. I
Yeah.
am very impressed in how you managed to get everything done. Being such a family-oriented person where certain people in your family have 24/7 needs and you can't take your eye off the ball.
Yeah.
How were you able to get a television show done on schedule like that?
Well, you mean, how did we film it and have everything?
Yeah. Or does this mean that there's the best outtakes on the planet on the cutting room floor?
Well, when you've got cameras following you around for 10 hours a day, you're going to get a bunch of good stuff, right? So, yeah, I mean, you know what? My life when we were filming was just this show. I remember one day somebody came from the gas company and they were turning off my gas. I was like, what are you doing? They're like, you haven't paid your bill in like 2 months. And I had just been so immersed in filming this show. I wasn't doing anything else. I was like, I need to pay my bills. So, yeah. So does that answer your question? We just had, they were here all summer long. They were here. The crew was here for 3.5 months, 4 months. Yeah. And it went great. Like, it's exactly what I really thought it would be, having made a pilot before. And my son did great with it. There's a whole lot of people in the crew, but there's only 2 cameramen. So everybody else kind of like fucks off somewhere else. And then you've got these 2 cameramen following you around. So yeah, it was great. My son did a great job with it. I knew, he couldn't sit there and have a conversation with me and say, let's discuss what's happening.
Right.
But he's a kid who loves people. He likes activity, likes stuff that's going on.
Right.
And we just always knew with Pootie, we were like, okay, if he wants to be a part of this, he can come in and join us. If he doesn't, he can go off and do his thing. So, yeah, so it worked out great. But what was your original question? I feel like I'm not quite answering it.
There's just so much going on here. I'm just wondering how you
I feel
managed.
like I may not have touched on, maybe how busy my life is, how I made a show.
Well, with productivity, because so many of the things that you're doing are based on what's happening at this second.
Yeah.
And that kind of management isn't usually related to finishing big things like TV shows. I'm wondering, productivity wise, how you manage to get things done. Are you a big calendar person, a big checklist person?
I mean, I'm totally OCD. So I've always like made lists for everything, and I'm a grinder. Like I put my head down and I don't stop till something gets done. And if somebody tells me no, I just go find somebody else who will say yes. So that's kind of how the show got made, is I just didn't give up on it. That's how I live my life. I've got a son who does need supervision 24/7. And we made a TV show where we're filming 10 hours a day. So I just kind of, figure out what I'm best at, and I delegate and figure out how to make it all happen. I don't know. In retrospect, I don't know how the hell we made that show, because it was seriously so much going on at once, but somehow we did it. We had a great time. Everybody enjoyed it. So yeah.
There you go. And my last question for you is, obviously you have the best show on the Lifetime Network, obviously.
Do you think?
Right, of course. Well, what's the second best show on Lifetime besides you?
The second best one? Well, I know Married at First Sight is kind of their big one. And that one is, that's one of those things that you watch and you kind of can't turn your eyes away from it. You're watching that and it's, like a train wreck. You got to finish watching it.
Yes.
I used to love, they had Super Nanny a long time ago. I really love that. And I think that Tyler, my son's caregiver, is total Super Nanny. So, I've told him, I was like, after this show, you need to bring Super Nanny back and be a part of that one. Yeah, I also there's all those little movies. I caught myself watching those Christmas movies this Christmas on Lifetime. There's something just
Biopics.
sweet.
Yeah.
They're sweet. I just had them on in the background while I'm cooking and cleaning. And, there was just something about it. It was kind of old fashioned and sweet that I liked. I'm going to have to say I'm a fan of those. But then, okay, you're asking me to pick one. Then I get sucked in by all those murder mysteries and all those scorned lovers and those pissed off cheerleaders. It just kind of sucks you in.
So you're on Team Lifetime. I think we've established that. Cool.
Probably. I feel like my whole life I feel like a teen. I feel like the world's oldest 100-year-old teenager. My whole life with a bunch of kids.
Whatever it is, I do hope a second season we are blessed with. It sounds like you're so business minded that there's other projects happening that you were not speaking of at this moment as well. And I'm not going to pry them out of you, but
okay, yeah,
I'm looking forward. Always something, but no, thank you for your time and just keep up all the greatness out there.
Thank you, darling. So good to talk to you. I enjoyed it.
Paltrocast.